Caitlyn Clark just got bodied on national television, and the people calling her a media creation or overhyped are completely missing the point. Everyone is talking about that specific shoulder check, but nobody is talking about the real reason why her own league and even the veteran players went absolutely silent afterward. If you stay until the end of this video, you are going to find out why the media narrative around Caitlyn Clark is built on a massive half-truth, the one specific statistic that completely changes how you see this controversy, and the real reason why what happens to Clark right now matters for the future of women's sports in a way that is much bigger than basketball. Quick note, before we dive into the deep end, everything you are about to hear is based on publicly available information, verified reports, and our own deep dive into film and data analysis. This channel is not affiliated with Caitlyn Clark, the Indiana Fever, or the WNBA. We are not here to take sides. We are here to break down what the data actually says, because in a conversation this polarized, the numbers are usually the only things telling the truth. All opinions expressed are for entertainment and informational purposes only, and we respect every single player in this conversation. Look, the moment that changed everything happened on a night that started out looking like any other routine matchup on the schedule. You could feel the energy in the arena, that familiar mix of excitement and anticipation that follows Clark everywhere she goes. The lights were bright, reflecting off the polished hardwood, and for the fans in the stands, it felt like a standard battle for a win. But what no one realized in those opening minutes was how quickly the rhythm was about to shift. Caitlyn Clark had already started to take total control of the game, moving with an intentionality that made it look like she could see the next 5 seconds before they even happened. She was firing from three, directing the offense, and the defense was struggling just to keep up with the pace she was setting. You could feel the tension starting to build with every possession, like a storm cloud gathering over the court. Small frustrations were creeping in, the kind of little moments that do not seem like much on their own, but together they build something much heavier. Then, not out of a scramble for a loose ball or a play developing under the basket, it happened. Kennedy Carter stepped in and made hard contact, a shoulder check that knocked Clark straight to the floor. It was not the kind of foul you expect to see in the middle of a basketball play. It did not look natural, and for a brief second, everything in the arena seemed to freeze. The crowd went quiet, trying to process what they had just witnessed as players on both sides slowed down in confusion. This is the part that everyone saw on the replays, the moment that eventually got upgraded to a flagrant 1 violation by the league because of how unnecessary the contact was. From the outside looking in, it was easy for fans to label it as just a rough lapse in judgment or a heated moment where adrenaline took over. But here is what this actually means in her rookie season. Clark has absorbed more hard fouls per game than almost any other guard in the league. And that is not a coincidence. Inside the league, these moments are rarely seen as isolated incidents that exist in a vacuum. They are examined through a much wider lens that includes team dynamics and patterns that are not always visible to the public eye. But the foul count is not even the most disturbing part of this story. To understand why this exploded the way it did, you have to look at the patterns that form quietly behind the scenes. Kennedy Carter already had a background that quietly followed her throughout her career, filled with reports of tension inside locker rooms and moments where team chemistry did not fully come together. There had been earlier situations, subtle ones, that were not always big enough to become major public stories, but were enough to raise serious concerns among coaching staffs and management. In professional sports, it is often the small details that matter the most, the things that do not make the headlines, but shape how a player is viewed internally. So when this moment happened with Clark, it did not feel entirely unexpected to those who had been watching Carter's trajectory closely. It felt familiar, and that familiarity is what gave it weight. because when an action looks like part of a pattern, it stops being seen as a mistake and starts raising deeper questions about composure under pressure. Think about how professional sports normally operate when a player gets caught in the middle of a controversy. Usually, there is a familiar script. Teammates step forward to defend their own coaches, give carefully measured responses to protect the locker room, and fellow athletes post messages of support to show unity. Solidarity is usually visible, and support is almost expected in a league that functions like a close-knit family. But this time, something felt completely different. There was no strong wave of defense for Carter, no teammates rushing to soften the narrative, and even more noticeable, there were no public messages from those closest to her. Silence, especially in a moment of crisis, is never empty. It carries a massive amount of meaning. The lack of response was so unusual that fans and media analysts picked up on it instantly, moving the conversation away from the foul itself and toward the total absence of support afterward. Why didn't anyone speak up? Why was there no visible backup? These questions lingered quietly, and when clear answers do not come, the public naturally fills in the gaps with speculation and assumptions. What was once a single incident on the court slowly turned into a broader narrative shaped not just by actions, but by the lack of reactions. This kind of silence has the power to shape reputations in ways that statements never can, influencing how sponsors, fans, and league officials make decisions moving forward. By choosing not to respond publicly, those around Carter were sending a message of distance and restraint, suggesting that the incident was being taken with extreme seriousness. It was as if a line was being drawn and a standard was being protected, emphasizing that certain actions carry a weight that goes far beyond the four quarters of a game. Now we have to talk about the business side of this, because the timing of this controversy could not have been more critical for the league. The WNBA is no longer flying under the radar. It is growing at a rate that has caught the attention of fans all over the world. Games are being watched by larger audiences than ever before, and the spotlight is brighter than it has ever been in the history of the sport. With that spotlight comes a massive amount of pressure, not just on the players to perform, but on the league itself to respond correctly. Every decision now carries a weight that can turn a single moment into a defining issue for the entire brand. Ignoring or downplaying the incident between Carter and Clark was never an option, because the league understood that how they responded would shape the entire narrative moving forward. It was not just about discipline. It was about maintaining control over the message and the future direction of the game. The data here is absolutely staggering. Viewership for the league has increased by 260% year over year since Clark arrived. That number does not lie, and it represents a massive influx of money and interest that the league has been waiting for decades. But more money did not immediately mean more respect. And that is where things get complicated. Professional sports rely on a structure of clear boundaries, and when a situation challenges the image of the league, the response has to match the seriousness of the moment. By taking a firm stance, the league sent a signal to every veteran and every rookie that talent alone does not place anyone above the rules. Respect for the game remains non-negotiable because it is what builds the reputation that attracts new audiences and keeps them coming back. One of the most striking things about this whole saga was the contrast between the two paths taken by the players involved. On one side stood Chennedy Carter at the center of a storm that was sparking questions, debate, and heavy criticism. On the other side was Caitlyn Clark, who remained calm, steady, and almost untouched by the chaos swirling around her. She did not pause to react or turn the moment into a drama through emotion or confrontation. Instead, she did something much harder. She moved on. Her focus snapped back to the game almost instantly, as if the incident existed in a different space that she chose not to step into. Every pass she made after that carried intention, every shot showed confidence, and every movement reflected a player who understood that the biggest statement does not always come from words. When the game ended, that same approach followed her off the court during media interactions. There was no shift toward drama or attempt to use the moment to create a bigger narrative for herself. She kept her answers grounded in the team, the performance, and the challenges of the season. She did not ignore the moment, but she absolutely refused to let it define her career or her character. In professional sports, especially at the highest level, moments of conflict are almost expected, but what sets the true stars apart is how they respond when those moments arrive. Anyone can react in the heat of a situation, but it takes a different level of discipline to stay composed after the whistle has blown. People remember how these situations are handled, and those memories become reference points that shape reputations for years to come. Look beyond the basketball. Caitlyn Clark's story teaches us something that we can all apply to our own lives. When an entire system seems designed to slow you down and the crowd shows up for you anyway, that is not luck. That is proof that doing the work in silence eventually speaks louder than any controversy. Clark did not silence her critics by arguing with them on social media. She silenced them by playing the game at a level they could not ignore. Pressure does not build champions. How you respond to pressure does. Clark walked into a league that was not entirely ready for her, carrying expectations that no rookie should ever have to carry, and she still showed up every single night. That is not just a sports story. It is a blueprint for how to handle life when the stakes are at their highest. Her real superpower was not just her shooting range, it was her willingness to be imperfect in public and keep going anyway. If Caitlyn Clark has ever given you a moment that made you jump off your couch, I want you to drop a basketball emoji in the comments right now. Let's show her how many people are riding with her on this journey, and I really want to know your honest take on this. Do you think Caitlyn Clark gets treated fairly by the league, by the media, and by her fellow players? Drop your thoughts below because we read every single one and we do not delete opinions. Every comment helps this story reach more sports fans who deserve to hear the full picture, not just the sensationalized headlines. So if you think the truth matters, make some noise right now. Now you know the real story of what is happening around Caitlyn Clark, but there is one player whose journey makes this controversy look like just the warm-up. I already made a video about it, and trust me, you do not want to miss it because it connects all the dots between the different generations of the sport. It is right there on your screen, so click it now and let's keep this conversation going. Whether this is the end of the story or just the start of something new, one thing is clear. What happened here will be remembered for a very long time. Stay with us for more stories that reveal what is really going on behind the game. Think about the sheer volume of noise surrounding one young woman. Since the day she was drafted, every single movement has been scrutinized under a microscope. We have seen the ratings hit 2.1 million viewers for a single regular season game, a number that would have been unthinkable just 5 years ago. We have seen sold-out arenas in cities that used to struggle to fill the lower bowl. But we have also seen the physical toll, the hard fouls, the shoulder checks, and the veteran players who seem determined to prove that she has to earn her spot, even though the data says she is already the biggest draw in the history of the sport. This generational tension is not unique to the WNBA, but it is playing out in a very public way right now. The last time we saw a rookie change a league this fast was LeBron James in 2003, and even back then, there were veterans who were not happy about a teenager getting all the attention. But Clark is navigating this in the age of social media, where every foul is a viral clip and every silent teammate is a conspiracy theory. The pressure is unlike anything we have ever seen. And yet, look at the consistency. After the incident with Carter, after the league upgraded the foul, and after the media storm reached a fever pitch, Clark just kept playing. She kept passing, she kept shooting, and she kept leading her team. That is the part that her critics cannot stand, the fact that she refuses to be a victim and she refuses to be a villain. She is just a basketball player who happens to be changing the world one game at a time. The league is at a crossroads. They have to decide if they are going to protect the old guard and the physical culture of the past, or if they are going to embrace the new era of global superstars. By upgrading the foul on Carter, they signaled that they are choosing the latter. They are choosing integrity and growth over the old way of doing things. It is a foundation for what comes next, and what comes next is going to be massive. Only time will tell if Chennedy Carter can find a way to rebuild her reputation and find her place in this new version of the league. She is an incredible talent, and there should be a spot for her if she can align with the professional standards that are now being enforced with an iron fist. But for now, the story belongs to the person who stood back up, reset herself, and kept moving toward the future. Don't forget to click that video on your screen to see the next chapter of this evolution. The history of women's basketball is being rewritten in real time, and you are going to want to see how the rest of the pieces fit together. We will see you over there. It is important to remember that this is more than just about individual players. It is about the evolution of the league itself. For years, the WNBA was struggling for mainstream visibility, playing in smaller venues and fighting for every minute of airtime. Now, thanks to a unique confluence of talent, timing, and media attention, the league has reached a tipping point. Caitlyn Clark is the face of this change, but she is also the target of the growing pains that come with it. When you have this much new money and this many new eyes on a product, the old rules of engagement often get thrown out the window. The welcome to the league moments that used to happen in empty gyms are now happening in front of millions of people, and the public is not always comfortable with what they see. This creates a fascinating dynamic where every hard foul is analyzed not just as a basketball play, but as a cultural statement. The league's decision to intervene and set a higher standard for conduct is a direct response to this new reality. They know that to maintain this momentum, they have to ensure that the product on the court remains professional and appealing to a broad audience. This is not about coddling one player, it is about protecting the entire ecosystem that is finally starting to thrive. As we move forward, the relationship between the veterans who have been the backbone of the league and the new stars who are bringing in the revenue will be the most important storyline to watch. It is a delicate balance of respect, competition, and business. The players who can navigate this landscape with the most poise, like we have seen from Clark so far, are the ones who will ultimately define this era. The story of the shoulder check was just one chapter in a much longer book about the transformation of women's professional sports. Every game, every interview, and every interaction is a new page being written. The level of scrutiny will only increase and the pressure will only get heavier. But if the early data and the reactions we have seen so far are any indication, the league is ready for this moment. The fans are certainly ready for it. And based on her ability to stand back up and keep shooting, Caitlyn Clark is more than ready for it too. We are witnessing history, and it is a privilege to break it down with all of you. Keep the conversation going in the comments, and stay tuned for our next deep dive into the numbers and the narratives that are shaping the game we love. The future of the WNBA is bright, and we are just getting started. One thing is certain, the conversation around the sport has changed forever, and there is no going back to the way things used to be. The eyes of the world are on these athletes now, and they are showing everyone exactly what they are capable of, both as players and as leaders. It is a new day for basketball, and the best is yet to come. So, stick around, keep watching, and let's see how this incredible journey unfolds. Every possession matters, every shot counts, and every moment is an opportunity to prove why this game is the best in the world. We will be here to cover every bit of it, from the highlight reels to the hard-hitting analysis that you won't find anywhere else. Thanks for being part of this community and for caring about the truth behind the headlines. Together, we are exploring the depth and the drama of professional sports in a way that celebrates the game and the athletes who give it their all. See you in the next one.